All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to talk about the 135-pound division where we have a very, very big fight or card coming up this weekend, but specifically some things around Gervonta "Tank" Davis, Hector Garcia, and JARON ENNIS, and some statements that were made by Hector Garcia that were, a little bit wild. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we are going to be in the 135-pound division where, and speaking about Gervonta "Tank" Davis, Hector Garcia, and some statements that Hector Garcia said about the entire card that was just more than a little bit disrespectful and makes me think, man, dude, what are you doing? But before I get into that, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. If you are a longtime subscriber and supporter, thank you so much for your continued support for the channel. It really, really does mean a lot. Thank you specifically to all the people in the live streams that come by every morning. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe, like I said. But thank you guys so much for your support. Also, thank you to anybody, specifically my guy, Mr. Pragmatic, who has kicked off the trend of supporting in the super thanks, which is the heart with the little dollar sign that you can see in the lower right hand corner of your screen. It's how content providers like myself are able to continue to do the work that we do. But let's get into this. Hector Garcia will be fighting Gervonta "Tank" Davis for Gervonta's 135-pound WBA regular title. It's not the main title, right? So some people can argue whether or not it is a championship or not, but that WBA regular title, which is honestly the historical title, will be up on the line this weekend in December. This weekend in DC, and it's got one of the best fight cards, the deepest fight cards I've seen in a while. I say like it's a Don King type of card. Some people say, hey, Richard Schaefer used to do those cards on when he was running Golden Boy for Oscar De La Hoya. But what I mean is that it's basically stacked from top to bottom with fighters that you want to see fight. Now, in this card, you have, pretty much from bottom to top, you have Brandon Lee, who's an up-and-coming 140-pound fighter, been fighting a little bit over that limit, like at 142, 143. But excellent fighter, knockout artist. Has a good number of fights, but I still think, still early in his career. Then after that, you have guys like Jalil Hackett, who's even more of a prospect than Lee is. And then you have guys like the Peterson brothers that are going to be on that card, Anthony Peterson and Lamont Peterson. Then you have Speedy Rashidi Ellis, up and coming 147 pounder and one of the better fighters at 147. Then you have also obviously Demetrius Andrade, longtime champion at 154, 160, who's now moving up to 168. And then you have one of the most exciting fighters in all of boxing, one of the best fighters in all of boxing, in my opinion, is JARON ENNIS out of Philadelphia. Is in the top 3 of every major sanctioning body in the welterweight division. And then, of course, Gervonta Davis, who's, one of the biggest names in boxing, one of the most exciting fighters in boxing, who's fighting Hector Garcia. Hector Garcia is a very, very talented fighter, a former Olympian, a current 130-pound WBA super champion who just beat another prospect that was highly touted in Chris Colbert, also beat Gutierrez to get the title. Pretty much didn't come out of nowhere, but, that everybody pretty much thought that WBA title that he had was looking, was going to be Chris Colbert, but Hector Garcia upset the apple cart, and he is looking to do it again against Gervonta Davis. Now, the thing that was really wild that he did, though, was he took, I'm not sure if it's Twitter or Instagram, and he showed a picture of the original meeting, that the original press conference where most of those people that and their opponents that they were fighting were standing up there. Now, since he is the opponent of Gervonta Davis, and Gervonta Davis is headlining the card, he was standing there next to Gervonta in the middle of the picture, and he was wearing a suit where everybody else in there were wearing, much more casual clothing. Gervonta Davis had just jeans and maybe some boots, some baggy jeans, basically looking like a skateboarder. He had basically a skateboarder costume on, and pretty much everybody else, just had, some version of, casual dress, at the press conference. But Hector Garcia was wearing a suit, one of them skinny suits with with a turtleneck underneath him, right? And sunglasses. And he made the statement that I look like a lawyer standing in the middle of a bunch of delinquents, and maybe I need to be their lawyers. Now, that to me was like, man. And Gervonta Davis retweeted it. Now, I don't think that's going to make Gervonta Davis get any extra, going to do anything extra in the fight. It isn't going to try to make him look make him any more angry. But just the statement itself, man, considering all the other things that you may notice about it, like how Hector Garcia was, is of, a different nationality and then does not come from the same places that most all of those fighters come from. And some of the, the cultural tensions that take place between those communities, man, it's like, man, I don't know who you think you are, Hector. First of all, 99 out of 100 times in a public setting, a lawyer is not going to be wearing that. Okay. You look like you're trying to go to a party yourself. It's just that the party is a little bit more stuffy. Whatever, man. I hope you think you look good. But what I certainly hope he doesn't mean is that there's not any type of, I would say, racial undertones to it. But, it's hard for me to get my head around that because of what Hector Garcia is. But at the same time, you got people like Sammy Sosa. You have other people who are, of that nationality and other nationalities outside of America, where you can have people who are clearly of African descent, but yet they think that they're different than people, from the United States. And I certainly hope that that's not like that, because it's shallow-minded, it's bigoted. Now, I'm not going to say it's racist because, that's my philosophy of it, is whatever, man, on that. However, I do think that it is bigoted, it's insulting, and, it's probably something he shouldn't have said. Because people up on that don't, first of all, it's factually not true. Those guys all look like grown men who are in casual clothing. There's no reason for them to be dressed in suit and tie necessarily, because they're fighters. And the thing that makes it funny to me is that everybody out there was dressed in a way that probably showed their real personality, versus Hector Garcia, who was out there dressed like he was dressed up for church, right? That's probably the better way. It's like you didn't look like a lawyer, you look like you're dressed up for church, right? Like you were trying to impress somebody and put something out there with the way that you're dressing and you know what I mean? So, man, I just thought that was real tacky, but not going to take it too far. However, maybe it'll add a little fuel for the fight that's coming up this weekend. But anyway it goes, I'm definitely looking forward to the fights. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.